What is up, everybody? Welcome to a Thursday edition of the No Gimmicks podcast here on DFPN. Thank you guys for tuning back in. As always, it is I, Black Mac, and Frankie D. And we got a loaded show for you guys tonight. We really do. We come off a huge pay-per-view in terms of praise heaped upon it. In Forbidden Door, we had a good Dynamite. We also had a ton of other news in between there, and we're here to talk about it all. But before we get into that, let's shout out our sponsor. Shout out to The Plugs Earbuds. Go to www.gettheplugs.com. Enter in code DFPN10 for a 10% discount. Also, shout out to Fiverr. If you guys are in our group, there is an announcements tab. Go to that tab. You will see the link, and they do all sorts of stuff, freelance work for you guys. So please go check them out. Join the Patreon. Listen, next month is going to be a monumental month for the DFPN Patreon. We have tons of new shows coming. We have a whole season of normalized growth coming. And there is a discussion that will be had to open up a brand new tier for the patrons, just to get more interaction there on the Patreon side. So there is an initiative to where we are going out and seeking out people to join the Patreon. There's hours and hours of content on there, ad-free. You go, you look at it. There's prizes. We're going to be rewarding that VIP tier here in the near future. We have another huge movie coming out, and we want to give them an opportunity to go see it. So that is stuff that you have going on. We're going to be streaming the UFC 276 this weekend for a watch along. I wanted to do it for Forbidden Door, but we didn't find out the Vimeo, figure it out yet. So as more stuff like that comes down, we will be doing watch alongs on our Patreon. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to it. It's $3 a month, and you can get in on some really cool shit, man. So patreon.com/thatfeelingpodcast. Go subscribe. Also, July is going to be a big month for Dat Feeling overall. So go to datfeeling.bandcamp.com. Subscribe there. We're going to be dropping a whole bunch of new music in the month of July. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to that. We also do have merch available at our Teespring. Brand new line of merch dropping amongst all podcasts. We have some pretty sweet designs set up for you guys. So go to teespring.com/ search for Dat Feeling Podcast and cop yourself some merch. Now, fabulous Frankie D.
Black Mac.
How have you been, man? It's been a minute since we've talked.
Yeah, I'm copacetic, but before we start the show, I want to give a plug out right quick.
Go ahead.
It's going to be Texas style wrestling. It's going to be the Plan of Attack, Saturday, July the 9th at 6 p.m. It's going to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Irving, Texas. It's going to have some superstars from Dog Pound Championship Wrestling that I know, like my man Red Dog Rodney Mack. We're going to have Selena De La Renta, the OMGs, Soda Pop, Hendrix, Haas Holden, Frank Stone, and many, many more Texas-style wrestlers. So if you are in the area, Saturday, July 9th, 6 p.m., they got a meet and greet going on from 6 to 7, bell time 7:30. You can get your tickets right now at Eventbrite, but go check them out. Texas-style wrestling, along with Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, going to be in the house, Plan of Attack, and also my man Teddy Long might make an appearance as well, from what I understand.
Oh, nice. I was actually going to plug that because I am going to that show. So I was going to plug that later on in the show, but I will plug it anyway because I think it is an important event if you're in the area to go check out. So you will get a reminder later in the show. But I am fortunate enough to be going to that event, and I am really excited about it. They've been doing a whole bunch of ads here, so they've seem to put a lot of emphasis on the fact that they're coming up this way. So I will be putting a bit of my hard-earned money to go see it. So
absolutely, go support the talent of tomorrow today.
yes. So very excited about that show. Very, very excited. Now, we're gonna get into the show. Actually, before we do that, what have you been watching lately?
I was watching Kenobi until it ended. I was watching Kenobi, and I don't know, bro. I've been kind of like in a Star Wars kind of thing lately. I just been watching all Star Wars and just watching random YouTube videos. To be honest with you,
Yeah, I get that.
Kenobi
had me
and the network and the WWE Network on Peacock because they just recently added some new episodes of WWE Saturday Night from 1994. So I've been checking those out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I've been I did a deep dive too after watching Kenobi because I felt like they dove in this show particularly deep into it, and that's in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. They kind of started that bridge. I'm interested to see where they go, so I did a little deep dive in myself. But I ended up falling asleep the other night, and I normally watch shit to put me to sleep. And I so happened to land on this show called Snowflake Mountain on Netflix. I know you're not a Netflix guy. I know you're
not. About this ain't like Brokeback Mountain, is it?
No. It's fucking amazing. You gotta watch this shit, bro. You gotta watch this shit. So they take a bunch of spoiled, rotten kids, right? Well, not really kids, because I think the oldest one is like 24, but they still live at home with their parents. They're spoiled. They feel entitled. So they tell them that they're gonna go out to like this lavish resort. They're gonna go camp. They're gonna go like out and enjoy themselves because their parents felt like they deserved to go on these places. They pack them in a vehicle and they bring them to fucking Wyoming. It's fucking amazing, bro. Like you gotta watch this shit. So they take them, they pluck them from this lavish lifestyle that they've been living, and then they bring them to the middle of nowhere, and they got to figure out how to survive. You got to watch this shit, bro. It's fucking amazing. Snowflake Mountain.
I might get to it one of these days.
It's like awesome. It's so fucking awesome.
I'm not a Netflix person.
I know you're not, but
they got a Von Erich.
They got a
Von Erich family docuseries coming on there.
Yep.
So I might check it out. And also, I'm a fan of the Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous TV show as well. So
yeah, they're bringing that. Yeah.
So I might have to subscribe.
I'm telling you, watch this shit. I feel like you would really enjoy it, honestly. I feel like
I'm very hard to entertain.
No, I feel like you'd love this shit. Because I love it. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, but see, but here's the thing though. But this is the thing about you and me though. This is what makes this podcast work, right? We're like yin and yang. You feel me?
Yeah.
So you're more of the the nice guy. Blah blah blah.
I'm the good cop.
I'm the heel. I'm the heel of the equation. I'm the Sith of the equation. I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I take pride in that.
I know you do. You really do. Eventually there'll be a turn. I know it will. There'll be a turn one day.
Oh, you think I'm gonna do an Anakin?
Yeah, you'll do an Anakin.
Yeah, okay.
You'll do an Anakin one of these days. Speaking of bad guys, let's get into our first topic, man.
Yeah.
Before we came on the air,
yeah,
you hadn't heard about the McDonald's situation.
No.
So apparently, McDonald's money doesn't stretch to everybody.
Apparently not. The video I just seen, apparently not, because hey, that girl was going wild, man.
So for those of you that are not in the know, allow us to elaborate. So, guy comes over with food for his kid. He has a kid with a woman who has 3 other kids not by him, and she felt like it was very disrespectful of him to not bring food for the other kids that are not by him. Now, mind you, they are not together. It's very important that we tell you that they are not together anymore. So she gets upset, says she's going to expose him, records her telling him a whole bunch of crazy shit. So, Frankie D, I'm going to ask you this.
Yes.
If there's a child
Uh-huh.
that is yours
Yes.
by another woman,
Okay.
and she has other kids that are not your children,
Yes.
are you obligated to buy them food if you're bringing your child food?
No, I'm not obligated to do that. But I have had situations in my personal life where my dad would bring shoes. Back in the day, he worked for LA Gear.
Huh?
So he would buy when he would bring me shoes, he would bring my siblings shoes as well.
Okay.
If he went and got food for me, he would get food for them.
Okay.
So he treated them as if they were his children.
That's
Some
a different
dudes,
type.
some dudes are built like that.
Some dudes
like
are
that.
built.
You're
yes.
not obligated to do that. No,
Exactly.
you're not obligated to do that. There is no obligation to say, hey, because I have my kid here, I have to take care of the rest of them. It's kind of like, it's honestly, there's no obligation, but it's kind of like it's a moral ethics thing.
It is.
On
It
whether
definitely is.
whether you want to do it or not. If you that kind of a stand-up dude, not every guy is going to be a stand-up guy. I think personally, I kind of understood what she was saying in the video, but it came off to me as she was acting very entitled, as if he had to do something and he didn't have to do it. And then for the fact that she took his food that he bought his child and she threw it on the ground like it ain't shit. Like you ain't shit. That part to me was very disrespectful. And then try to put the guy on blast. Try to put him on blast for him being a stand-up guy. Hey, bro, how many dudes go out there and won't get their kids nothing? They won't even be in their kids' life. They don't give a damn if their kid eats or not. They just gonna lay down and do it and then say, get out of my face, and then you try to get child support from him and he don't want to pay shit. Or the motherfucker gets a job when child support comes, he quits the fucking job so he ain't got to pay. And then they take his driver's license officer, dumbass shit. This is the shit that niggas do. You feel me? So there's no entitlement. There's no obligation. In obligation there's no contract that says, hey, if I do for mine, I got to do for everybody else. It's all about how you built. It's all about if you love those other children and you treat them like they're your own. That's how I look at that situation.
So let me ask you this. Say, like in the case of your dad, because your dad was a stand-up guy, right?
No, my dad was a piece of shit.
We'll get to that. Maybe we won't. But in the event that he didn't bring your sibling shoes, did your mom have a right to get mad at him?
No, my mom wasn't gonna get mad at him because my mom wasn't like that. Let me put it to you like this: the man can be there, bro. The man can be there in the life of the children all he want to, but the strongest being out there is a black woman. Because my mom and my grandma is the ones that raised us. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
My dad was in and out of the picture. My siblings' dad was in and out of the picture. But my mom and my grandma was a constant. You dig what I'm saying?
Yep.
So they are the ones that kept us out the streets. They was the ones that kept us out of the bullshit and out of the drama.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So that's all I'm saying here. What this situation is, when I look at that video, I mean, it's how he built. Don't get mad at the dude because he didn't bring food for your kids. He was bringing food for his kid. He's taking care of his kid. He's in his kid's life. Be grateful for that fact because not everybody's built like that, and not all dudes is there.
Right. And I think that point got skipped over a lot. Like, damn the fact that he didn't bring the other kids' food. Like, he was there for his kid. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He felt that was his responsibility. And I'm not even mad at that. I'm not even mad at that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just think, regardless, and I see because my timeline went absolute ape shit behind this. And I could see a lot of the points. You know what I mean? Like, you wasn't trying, you was doing it when you was with her. Like, keep doing it. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but that's the fucking objective of the whole thing. Like, if I'm trying to establish myself as a player in a relationship, of course I'm gonna do that. But if I get out of Dodge, I'm not obligated to do that shit no more. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm just not. So I can see how they get mad at it, but not every man's gonna be the type to be like, all right, I'm gonna bring everybody shit because you know what I mean? Like, that's his siblings. Not every man's built like that, and a lot of people didn't understand that point. Like,
I understand it. I understand it. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I understand it because I lived through it. You feel me? I've lived through all of that. I know what it is, and a lot of people don't understand that, especially now when it's with inflation going wild. Look, bro.
Hell yeah,
this ain't no McDonald's. This ain't no McDonald's in the '90s. When you got the dollar menu, you got you got the McNasty over there and all that other. You don't have that now.
This ain't the dollar chicken nuggets, motherfucker. You got to take it easy with this shit. Bring him out there to come eat shit. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you got to come out here and eat because
exactly.
I done bought this shit. Hey, this ain't the dollar menu, motherfucker. You got to come out.
People don't understand that. It's time stuff.
This ain't the dollar menu shit, bro. Like, you got to come eat this shit now. Like, I ain't hungry. I bought it for him. You know what I mean? Like, but I get that shit. But yeah, it's a lot of right opinions and there's a lot of wrong ones on this one. But ultimately, I think she may have had a point, but I think the way that she presented the point was fucking terrible. It was stupid.
I think I think her feelings were hurt as well.
Yeah, she was
because
hurt.
she kept going back to the fact that she gets food stamps on the 11th. He knows this and all of a sudden. So I don't know the inner workings of the situation. I don't know where all the rest of the baby daddies is at or whatever. All I know is that this dude's up here trying to do the right thing. You putting him out there trying to expose him like he a deadbeat.
Right.
That part I don't agree with.
My whole thing was that kind of creates a slippery slope too. You know what I mean? Because if that's what you expect of him with food, like what happens if he buys his kid a Christmas present? Now you got to buy all of them a Christmas present.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, now you got to buy them all a Christmas present. Like,
yes.
If he goes school shopping, you got to go school shopping for all of them.
Absolutely.
Where they daddies at? You know what I mean? Like, where they daddies at?
I don't know, and that's what I'm saying, man. I don't know.
Like, that's a bit much for you to be going hard over McDonald's, bro. Like, come on, chill.
Yeah,
but I mean,
especially when there's other places out there. I mean, like Burger King and especially when there's better places. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's McDonald's. Chill, chill.
But one good thing happened this week.
What's that?
Popeyes brought back their Cajun rice.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
That's interesting.
Bastards should never got rid of it to begin with.
They shouldn't have, because that was the only side I would order.
Exactly, and they said in the press release, "Oh, we've got rid of our rice, but we have all our other delicious sides." Fuck you.
Fuck that. I don't want that shit.
Exactly. Well, no damn green beans and fuck y'all, man. So yeah, they brought the rice back. Yes,
Max says McDonald's sales went up by 5% over the last year. I would imagine. Suddenly, everybody got McDonald's money. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But moving on, next topic. So your boy, one Mr. Robert Kelly, is now fully trapped in the jail cell.
Yeah.
Well, he will remain.
Yeah.
For up to 30 years, barring any setbacks, appeals. I did hear they're going to try to appeal it because they feel like he was sentenced too harshly. Mm. It's 30 years too harsh for the crime that he committed.
I don't know, man. I mean,
look, I want to hear your take on this because I feel like we might agree on this one.
My take on this is this. All right. My opinion, okay, which is protected by the First Amendment, by the way. Okay.
Speak.
My opinion is simply this. I believe that, yes, there was some stuff going on there that he shouldn't have been doing. But I believe the parents are just as responsible as Mr. Kelly. Simply put, I believe that they had a contractual agreement that you can have our daughter as long as you pay us money. But when the money ran out, all of a sudden now this tape comes up, that tape comes up, they're being held hostage, blah, 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 blah. Now, when I look at R. Kelly, I see a person that is such a waste of talent, is what it is. Here's a guy that had this amazing voice, creatively wrote songs for different artists, and it just went all down the drain because of his fucking sexual deviated mind, is what it is.
Okay. I would agree with that.
Dude had a problem, and we all knew about the problem all the way back to Aaliyah, rest her soul, when she was alive, and nobody did nothing about it. He had people around him that instead of saying, hey, dude, go get some help, you got a problem here, we need to fix it. No, they coddled and cradled him and protected him as long as the money was there. But as long as the money was there, we ain't going to say nothing because we're going to continue to get paid. But once the money ran out, you see you ain't got nobody there that's going to stand up for you. You ain't have no friends anymore. The industry doesn't give a shit about you anymore. You have nothing left anymore. That's what I believe. They're all of a sudden now victims because the money ran out. But if the money was still there and he hadn't been, and instead of doing this over here and not focusing on his accounts, none of this shit would have went down as far as him being broke. We never would have heard about any of this shit. Kelly got off the first time. When he was in Chicago, when he got off the first time, that should have been finito, done. I'm not doing this shit no more. But he kept going. But he should have got help.
He did the double album after that shit.
He should have got help.
He did the double album after that.
He should have got help. So now instead, you trapped in the closet, motherfucker, you trapped in that cell. And your ass ain't going nowhere.
He ain't going nowhere.
And they've been wanting you. That's the thing. They've been wanting him. Just like they want Cosby's ass.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
They want him.
Now, everything you said, I agree with. Especially the parent part. Like, I do think the parents played a very big role in all of this shit, and it's getting overlooked because their children are the victims. Right. I do think that shit needs to be looked at because ain't no way in hell that shit ain't going on for that long and they don't fucking know about it.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no way. There's no way. Even when the child gets grown and, you know what I mean, they still ain't came home yet. Like, dude, what the fuck?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, even when they're minors. Like, because some of these girls went in there as minors. They were with him as minors. And he was supposed to be mentoring them. You know what I mean? Like, that shit, that accountability has to be had. You know what I mean? Fuck the Surviving R. Kelly documentary because I think that was the catalyst for all this shit. But I think that documentary was made with malice too, by the parents. I do.
It was a start.
It was. It was
like
the catalyst for all that shit.
But like I said, they have been wanting R. Kelly for years.
Oh yeah,
And they
since
finally
they got him the first
got
time.
him. Yeah, they've been
since they got him the first time.
He gave them the opportunity. He gave him the opportunity because he wasn't watching his bank accounts.
No,
he an opportunity.
This goes back.
He wasn't watching the motherfuckers around him to see what they're recording and what they're doing.
Yeah, this goes back to when we had normalized growth on here. Shout out to normalized growth. Like once you reach that level of superstardom and you have that much money, you feel untouchable. So when he got off the first time, the motherfucker made. So after he got off, you had the R double album, you had TP2, both fucking monster albums that made him a lot of money. Then the whole Step in the Name of Love, the Pied Piper shit, like all that shit came after.
He was bigger. I mean? He was
bigger because of that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that came a whole aura of fucking invincibility around him. Like motherfucker felt like he was invincible. So it wasn't until the money dried up that this shit happened. You know what I mean? And who knows? If he'd have went to jail then, like that was damn near 20 years ago, bro. Think about that shit.
Yeah.
That was damn near 20 years ago. Like this motherfucker could have did 20, came back reformed by now.
Well, unfortunately for him, even with an appeal, he's fucked.
Oh yeah,
he's fucked.
They ain't gonna knock no time off of it.
Nah.
But here's what I want to see after this. Like, okay, cool. You want to go after R. Kelly? You want to give him 30 years? Fine. But have that same energy for all those other motherfuckers that's facing these same charges. Harvey Weinstein needs to go to jail for that amount of time too. You know what I mean?
Like, they're not letting him off the hook.
Oh yeah,
he's another one they want.
Yeah, you need to fucking give them the same amount of fucking time. Like if that's what y'all doing, do it, but do it to everybody. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like they tried to make an example out of R. Kelly. I hope this is the example that replicates itself.
Because he had history.
Yeah, because he did have history.
He had history. He had history of pretty much being a pedophile.
Yeah.
And he was getting away with it, and it was too open.
This is true. This is very
so true. What are you gonna do about that? You gonna continue to let the guy operate in front of us and basically say, hey, listen, fuck you. I'm gonna do whatever I want to, and y'all can't do nothing about it, even though you got a suspicion about what's going on, but ain't nobody gonna talk in my camp until the money ran out.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I definitely get it.
It's kind of like the WWE situation with Vince. They're looking at all non-disclosure agreements that WWE has signed. And then there's another woman that's out there who used to be a referee for WWF back in the day. And she's saying something that, quote unquote, Vince raped her or some shit. So that's coming out. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but apparently people have been kind of knowing this for years, and I guess she was kind of paid off or some shit. So they're looking at everything right now. Vince, on the other hand, with McMahon is that Vince had a consensual relationship with a woman. I shared the picture of the woman in the group. Okay.
Hey,
so a little hot. Look,
Side note. I'm not mad at him for that.
Absolutely.
I ain't mad
at him. He did his thing. He did his shit. So anybody out there want to say Vince is racist? I don't know about that one. So,
buddy, I'm not mad at you, Vince.
Yeah. So
you might have lost, but you gained.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing though. He put up there. He got a situation right now where this guy paid the side chick. He gave her $3 million, basically not to talk. She signed a non-disclosure agreement. He put $3 million of his own money. Not anything to do with the company, his own money. The only thing he did as far as the company goes is what may be looked at as an ethical situation and like, oh, don't do that again, was he gave her a $100,000 raise. That was it. So, I mean, the only person I feel in this situation that's going to take the fall for all this is going to be John Laurinaitis, Johnny Ace. He's going to take the fall for all this.
Probably. Because he's a young
and remember, isn't Laurinaitis married to the Bella's mother?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's been doing all this shit behind her back.
That's gonna mess that all the way up.
Oh fuck yes.
Gonna mess that all the way up.
Yeah, know what I'm saying. But at least Vince is the homie. He want to pass him around.
It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none.
Exactly. And Vince was literally about that.
Vince a savage, bro.
Hey, look, y'all remember when y'all remember when Vince McMahon was out there wearing wave caps on ECW? Yeah.
Vince was getting it.
Vince McMahon has always been a gangster.
Vince was getting it. Vince is out there on 125th. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. Just being a man.
Vince a fool, bro. Vince
hey, the president of the United States did the shit in the fucking Oval Office back in the day. Remember fucking Clinton and Monica Lewinsky?
Yeah.
He did the same thing.
I mean, what president hasn't banged in the Oval Office?
I call it the Oral Office, buddy.
That's what, yeah. But what president hasn't done that?
I don't know.
Like, I feel like if you're a president of the United States, that's like item number one. Like, you gotta bang in the Oval Office. You and the first lady just go in the Oral Office.
I don't know about all that. Yeah, I don't know about all that.
I mean, that's like the ultimate sign of power, bro. Tell me if you don't. They elect Frankie D. They say, Frankie D, you are now president-elect of the United States. In about 60 days, you're going to be in the White House. You telling me you're not game planning to bang in the Oval Office?
No,
that's a fucking lie.
No, I have other things on my brain.
Like what?
I'll tell you out the air.
That's a fucking lie, and you know it. That's
why would I bang in what would I got on banging in the Oral Office?
Because that's like a must, bro.
Bro, that creepy ass fucking place. What would I get out of doing that? What would I get out of doing that?
Con says she don't believe you either.
I would not.
Bro, that is like item number one.
It's not for me.
Like soon as the parade and shit, all that shit is over, and all these TV cameras are gone, bro, we going in the Oval Office.
I wouldn't. That's just. I get what you're saying, but that wouldn't be my agenda.
Like right on the desk, right next to the red phone.
No, because
no way.
No
way.
No. I was elected to do a job. I'm going to do the job.
Bullshit. I'll do the job too, but I'm going to do the first job in the Oval Office.
And when they catch you and they try to impeach your ass, what you going to do then?
What the fuck you going to impeach me for? For banging?
For having relations in the Oval Office.
My address to the nation would be just like this. You goddamn right I did it. There ain't an American out here that say they wouldn't. You goddamn right. I made that shit happen.
Sir.
Y'all lucky
you know
when you
what?
hit this red phone.
Hey.
These nuclear codes could have went off.
Hey.
I did that shit.
You know something?
I did.
You sound very Sithish tonight. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But that wouldn't be my plan. I would not start off that way. Absolutely not. Not the first 60 days. No.
What?
After I got done with what I'm doing, okay. After I got done with changing a lot of shit, then I'll say, oh, maybe I
change it before you get in there.
No, I'll just say, oh, well, maybe I need one of those complimentary White House blowjobs or something like that. Maybe that's what I'll say.
Hell no. I mean, yeah, you could get it, but like day one, bro, you got to go in the Oval Office.
Day one. I'm reversing so much shit on day one.
I mean, true, but I'm just saying, like the Oval Office, it has to be a thing. Like even a quickie. You know what I mean? Like just
somebody's infatuated with the Oval Office.
Yes, I am. That's like a bucket list item. I just got to get elected first, which means I got to run for president, which I don't want to do. But to make it happen, yeah.
Hey, you know what? We should do that.
What, run for president?
I'll be your running mate.
It'd be perfect. We work both sides of the aisle.
Exactly. You'll have the light side, and I'll have the dark side.
Exactly. Oh, speaking of shit that got overturned, real big topic.
Yeah.
They overturned Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
Now, when they did this shit, when they did that leak draft thing that they did, and everybody made a big deal out of it, I knew the shit was coming.
Yeah.
Because everybody was pissed that the shit got leaked. So I just pretty much prepared myself. The shit was coming.
Right.
I still don't know how they did that shit. I know how they did that shit, but I don't know why they did that shit. I'm still searching for answers on why.
Oh, I found out the other day why they did it.
Enlighten
why,
us.
Why they came to that conclusion. I saw this the other day. It was on the Wall Street Journal news channel or something like that. But essentially, what the court said is that there is actually nothing in the Constitution that gives a woman the right to have an abortion. So that is where they got that from. That's where the court ruled, because that's not a natural right to give. It's nowhere in the Constitution that they have to do that.
Okay. So I don't want to approach this from a political side.
Let's look at it. Let me say this real quick, and I'll let you go.
All right,
let me say this. This whole abortion thing. If you remember, we talked about this when we first really started getting into No Gimmicks.
Yep.
Okay, we talked about this months ago. The focal point of this situation was right here in Texas. This is where it all started.
Yep. You're right about that.
If this situation had it just remained in Texas and not gone to the Supreme Court, I don't think it would have been overturned.
They wouldn't have raised an issue on it, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But people wanted to protest shit and want to do this and do that to the point where we'll take it to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court will rule in our favor. No, they fucking won't. Because the Supreme Court is majority conservative. So they're not going to rule in your favor.
That part.
That's not going to happen.
The conservative.
They're going to protect the conservative, but they're also going to protect. Basically, they're going to go and read the fucking law, read the book, and that's what they did. They read the fucking book.
All right. So if you're talking about,
here's a problem. Here's a problem, though, real quick, with overturning this. If you overturn Roe versus Wade, what else can they go and undo?
Oh, they can undo a lot of shit. But here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
So where you're coming from is the 14th Amendment, right? Where in the 14th Amendment, there is a clause in it that protects the privacy, which Roe v. Wade was based off of.
Correct.
The right to privacy.
Correct.
They looked at that wording and they themselves found out, or they decided that the right to abortion did not apply to this.
Absolutely.
There's 3 different clauses in the 14th Amendment. They pinned it specifically to that one. But the conclusion of Roe v. Wade, overall, it broadened it based off the 14th Amendment itself, not just that particular right, but they used that particular right to overturn it. So I don't think that was a good call, because that invites, as you said, the overturning of so much other shit, which they do want to go back and look at gay marriage, right? They do want to go back and look at contraceptives and and all of that. So the issue with that is it creates a lot more bad shit out of it, right? So you can't. So I'm just looking at this, and I talked with my mom because she lived before Roe v. Wade was a thing. So I talked with her about it, and she didn't think it was necessarily a good thing because of what was happening before then. So before Roe v. Wade, you had people that couldn't get abortions, and they found the means to do them themselves, right? And that created more problems because you go and you find somebody that would do an abortion that wasn't necessarily qualified, and she thinks it may head back that way. And then you end up with people with more complications from getting an abortion than you have now, and that could lead to a massive, like, destructive thing, right? So in that sense, I don't agree with the overturning of it. In a lot of senses, I don't agree with it because it is going to create problems, and then you're going to start striking laws that, in the end, we're all human beings, right? So whether you believe a certain group deserves these rights or don't deserve these rights, like, they're all human beings. The rights are there to protect them. And in the 14th Amendment itself, there's a clause in there that says don't make or strike down a law that is meant to harm, or not meant to harm citizens of the country. So I don't agree with the way that they struck it down. I just think they need to revisit it. It does warrant a revisiting because you do have situations where people are raped and now they can't get an abortion, or people that have high risk pregnancies and they are in these states that don't allow them, and they have to travel, and that puts an extra strain on them.
That's not being effective from what I'm understanding.
What's not being effective?
That high risk pregnancies, so ectopic pregnancies and all that type of stuff, that's not what's being affected here.
No, that all of it's being affected.
No, it's not.
Until they haven't come out and reworded any part of this overturning.
No, because because here's the thing: when you have, I don't know, it's something's supposed to come out in the next couple of weeks that's going to, like, lay down a foundation of what it is. But ectopic pregnancies, high risk pregnancies, and things like that are not going to be a part of it.
They haven't come out.
It's more along the lines of
specifically said that, though. But
we're gonna wait and see. I don't think that's what it's gonna be, but I don't think that's what it's gonna be. That right there can't happen. But here's the thing.
It can't.
Here's the thing. I don't necessarily have a problem with them overturning it, simply because you can overturn it, but these other factors need to be in there, like, high risk pregnancies, sexual assault, rape, and all that stuff. Those should be the parameters in which you can terminate. Obviously. But you have a lot of people out here that are just plain fucking irresponsible, and just want the easy way out. Let me tell you something. And this is what people don't catch on to. Planned Parenthood. You know Planned Parenthood?
Yeah, I know Planned Parenthood.
Okay. That whole thing was started to begin with. It was for black women to just terminate the pregnancy because they didn't want black children. So,
okay. I'll take your point there.
So, you have a lot of irresponsible shit going on out here where people think that they can just willy-nilly just go out here and procreate, and then, I don't like the baby daddy, so fuck it. Or whatever the situation may be. Instead of, there's options. You can carry the child. You can put the child up for adoption. You can have the child. You can drop the child off at the hospital. You can drop the child off at the fire department. You can drop the child off at the police station. There's lots of different ways in which we can do things instead of just outright saying, "Oh, I'm going to go ahead and terminate." And there's been people that just go out there and terminate pregnancy just to fucking do it. Bottom line. So there's a lot of irresponsible shit here at play. And I've not heard in the last few weeks, all I've heard over and over again is a word that I have not heard in a long time because people were saying they didn't know what the fuck it meant and whoop-de-whoop and all this bullshit. And that's the term women. People stopped saying it because it was a dirty fucking word. And all of a sudden now it's women and don't, hands off my body and blah, 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 blah. But nobody was saying that shit 2 months ago. That was a bad word to say because we don't know what a woman is. We have men, women, and binary.
Wow. That is, wow.
It ain't wow. It's the fucking truth. It's a fact. I've seen the shit.
That is a very interesting way to look at that.
It's basically when it's convenient, bro. We'll call them women when it's convenient. You're a man. Well, what's a man? Well, I don't know. I know what a feature is, but how can you say I'm a man? Well, somebody actually said this stupid shit the other day.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. I asked this in a group chat, but fuck it. I'll ask it live. Where does life start?
Life starts in the womb of a woman.
So when a sperm meets
Absolutely.
the egg.
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. So that is your basis for life. Because I actually think life happens separately. There's life in sperm. There's life in an egg.
Mm-hmm.
Only when the two combine do they make another life. But
Correct.
There's life in both, right? Another breathing human being that houses either one of those, right? But I think life starts there.
Okay.
But that being said, if we're gonna be pro-life, right? Let's just say we're all pro-life. And we have to abide by these laws, right? What if it comes out that if you get a woman pregnant, that's a life, right? You get a woman pregnant. She is now holding life inside of her womb.
Okay.
You are now eligible to pay child support starting at that moment. You should pay child support at the creation of life. So if she's 8 weeks pregnant, you pay from 8 weeks all the way to 18 years old.
I agree with that.
I agree with it.
You should go through the process with her. Absolutely. I agree with that.
I agree with
it. But most real dudes already do that because they're called husband and wife.
But now we have to make it a legal obligation starting from the creation of life.
That's right. And I have no problem with that. I think that's the way it should be.
Okay. So also, if that's the way we're going to play, then women should be able to receive WIC upon creation of life. She should be able to receive that benefit. This is what I think should happen.
I agree.
She should be able to take out a life insurance policy on that fetus. So in the event of a miscarriage or some unfortunate event, she should be able to receive compensation for carrying that life.
Under certain parameters, I agree.
So I think as much as this law is fucked up, I think there's ways you should be able to help these women. Not just say you can't do this shit and this is this is the way it's going to be. Like, if you're going to roll that back, then you need to provide additional protections for them.
I totally agree with you. Anything that you can have that will, especially when it comes to the WIC, nutrition and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that you can have that can make sure that you're healthy and the baby's healthy. Absolutely, you should do that. It shouldn't start when you have the child. It should start way back when. Absolutely.
Yeah, it should start at the first sign of life.
But also, it should be some protection for the man too. So if you got a woman out there that's over here with side dude A, and then and your side B, and she says, "Oh, well, I'm pregnant," you should pay. But then when the baby's born, you should have a blood test. And if the blood test comes back inside your child, you are no longer obligated. Because some dudes sign the birth certificate and that's not even their kid, and they're obligated.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah,
I agree with it. I think women deserve that. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna roll this law back, then you should have some type of protection for them.
I think there should be protection for both.
I do too.
Because if a woman goes out there, see what people don't understand about the situation too, when it comes from a man's point of view, if a woman goes out there and she has an abortion, people think that doesn't affect the dude. That can affect the man. If the man really wants to have a child and she says, "I'm having a fucking abortion and fuck you," that can have a very serious psychological, emotional breakdown for the man. And people people never look at the man's point of view. Like, people never look at a man like, "Oh, there's no way in hell a man can be abused domestically." Bullshit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean? I agree with that.
Well, I'm glad we're in agreement. It's great that people from two different sides of the political spectrum can come to an agreement.
It's weird, but I that's just
because we can sit down and we can have a conversation, and we can come to a compromise, and that's what fucking people don't want to do. People on the fucking right and people on the left, they don't want to come to a compromise. Well, no, I'll take that back. Majority of the time, the right will want to come to a compromise, and the left don't want to do it. It's either the left will say it's either your way, it's either our way, or no fucking way.
Well, here's the thing, right? So they've both been in a pissing contest for years, decades even. They've been in a pissing contest. So when they come to the table, it's not like us sitting here and talking. Like, they're coming with their list of demands, and if they don't get all of their demands, then they get nothing until they rule the fucking nation. You know what I mean? So
exactly,
that's how you end up with these situations. But I think there's a way you can undo that shit and then have some type of protection in place. I just think they went about it the wrong way. Like,
I agree. I think they should. Bro, I honestly think this situation should have never left the state of Texas.
It shouldn't have.
I believe that. That's where people wanted to protest and all this bullshit, and it went too fucking far. If it had just been a Texas issue, I think it would have been a little simpler. But now you have a situation where all these different,
it's Texas. It's Texas, and at the time, the person from Texas had the president's ear, and that's how you end up with this situation. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Which, Jesus. Then he goes and takes a vacation, but I digress.
Well, we all need vacation.
We do. All right, so let's get out of the weeds a little bit. You mentioned that you watched Kenobi, so let's talk about it.
Sure.
What were your thoughts overall on this limited series, 6 episodes of storytelling by the Star Wars universe? What were your thoughts on the series as a whole?
The series as a whole, I loved it. I loved it simply because we got to see Ewan McGregor come back as Obi-Wan. Yeah. And we saw Hayden Christensen come back as Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. Yep. So I love that. I love the story that they told there. A lot of people did not care for the character of Reva, but Moses Ingram. I didn't have a problem with the character. I just think that her character wasn't written very, very good. I think that there was more meat on the bone there as far as storytelling goes and what they could have done with her. And I think that's where season 2 of Kenobi can come into play, where we can actually tell her story.
Get more of a backstory.
More of a backstory. People got to understand something, man. When you watch a Star Wars movie, they have the central story they're going for, which is we got the protagonist and the antagonist. Okay, you have the story you're going for, but you have all these other side stories going on as well. Yeah, it's like you remember, and I'll bring up Revenge of the Sith because that's my favorite one. So you have the story here of Anakin having flashes, and having dreams of Padme. Okay, but then you also have Kenobi going after General Grievous, and then you have Palpatine trying to get into Anakin's ear, and then you have this going. So you have lots of things going on, and people don't understand that they're telling a story here. You can't just have a whole show. Just the whole focal point is going to be Kenobi versus Vader. Yeah, that's going to get fucking boring. What else is going on here? And I think that's what it was. I do think some racial shit was going on. I do believe that, but I don't think it was with the whole Reva thing. I think that's some of that was going on, but I don't think it was as big as they say it was. Right. Because Disney's done this where they've had situations with characters. I mean, look what they did with John Boyega with his picture in the poster, and what they did with China. And then they want to say that all the fans are being racist because they're shitting on this character. No, they're not being racist. They're calling you out because you basically you baited and switched. You said that the show was going to be about Vader and Kenobi, is what you said. Then in the trailer, you're playing Duel of Fates and all these different songs, and you don't hear none of this shit throughout the whole series until the last episode. You finally hear the Imperial March. You finally hear the Force theme. You hear all these different theme songs that you didn't hear throughout the entire show. So people were pissed about that, and people were pissed that they didn't do more flashbacks, and it's a lot of stuff here. Kenobi only had a budget of $90 million. Okay, and originally, because one of the writers have come out about Kenobi and said that it was supposed to be actually a trilogy. It was going to be 3 movies. This is where this comes from. Oh wow! But because of the failure of the Solo movie and how it bombed in the theaters, Lucasfilms came in and said, okay, we're not going that direction. So what the original writer says is that they basically took his script for 3 movies, and you saw basically one of the movies play out on the show in the 6 episodes, is what he said. And he says originally in his script, he says he created the character Reva. And originally in his script, Reva was supposed to die. Vader was supposed to kill her. That's initially the link. The leak of the story was Vader kills her, but that didn't happen. So we have a situation now where season 2 is a possibility where they can tell some more stories. You finally got to see Qui-Gon Jinn at the end there with Kenobi as a Force Ghost. Okay, so now let's go that route. Let's have Obi going through his training with Qui-Gon to get us to A New Hope. Yeah. You know what I mean? But then it's like, okay, what do you do with Reva? You can put Reva in a Kenobi show, and she could be one of the people out there, and it would kind of fuck shit up because there's no mention of a Reva in A New Hope, but she could be one of the ones that's maybe a protector of Anakin, or not Anakin, protector of Luke. Yeah, because she knows that information. Or you can span her off on another show where she's giving up her ways as an Inquisitor, and now she's joining Rokin, and she's joining the rebellion. There's lots of things you can do with the show and with the story. Yeah, and I just think that a lot of stuff they missed the ball on, and I think they can go back to it. And
they did leave a lot on the table. They left a lot on the table.
Absolutely. But I have to say, out of all the episodes, I'd probably say episode 4 was the weakest of them all.
I was thinking, 4 or 2. 2 didn't have a lot in it either. But
2 was okay because 2 is when when we first see Vader at the end. When Obi says Anakin, and then you see
that was
Vader.
it. That was it. But the rest of that episode was kind of slow.
Yeah, but it was storytelling. It's a build.
Yeah,
They're building.
It was
to
a build. Like
yeah.
I watched it knowing it was a build, and then at the end you got the oh shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like oh shit, episode 3 is about to be lit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then 3 was good. 4 was okay. 5 was awesome.
4 was fucking the shit, dude. Vader coming in there and fucking bringing down that fucking that cruiser with the Force. Yeah, bring that shit down. I marked out so big when that shit happened.
5 was fucking lit.
5 was lit.
Yeah, 5 was lit. I was like, oh shit, they showing his power. Like, this motherfucker stopped the jet. Like, bitch, where the fuck y'all going? Then grab the other one. I was like, he probably could have grabbed that one too. But they was just like, nah.
Oh, yeah, episode 5. Yeah, 5. It was 5, not 4. 4 was okay at the end when he said, you were warned about, and then he grabbed her in the Force choke.
Yep.
It's kind of cool.
Like,
but I kind of figured the story. I kind of figured though. I kind of figured what they were going for though, with her knowing how did she know this information? But the writer says that in his script she did not know this. She didn't know who he was, because how would she know that? And that makes sense. How would she know who he is? When Anakin came into the Jedi Temple, he wasn't wearing a Vader suit.
No.
So how would she know that? Unless the troopers were calling him Vader, which they weren't.
No.
So that part didn't make any sense.
It wouldn't. Unless he had to leave them at a period of time, fight Obi-Wan, get cut up, now he's Vader. You know what I mean? And you would have
but she wouldn't have seen that because he didn't go back to the Jedi Temple after that.
Exactly.
So that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a good. Overall, it's a good show. I just, it sucks because now I have nothing to watch.
I'm telling you, man, watch Snowflake Mountain. Shit's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
It's fucking hilarious. You gotta watch it.
Just like with Kenobi, when Gotham went off the air back in the day, I struggled for things to watch on TV.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
You'll get something soon.
Yeah, well, I told you, man, I'm very hard to please.
Hey, we all are in some ways, but
yeah,
yours just happened to be entertainment.
Absolutely. I'm very hard to entertain. I'll sit there and be like,
exactly.
Oh, I would have done this differently. Oh shit. Oh, you fucked up there, didn't you?
Speaking of which, I have been trying to get you to watch this pay-per-view. Forbidden fucking Door.
Yeah.
I tried to get you to watch it.
Yeah.
I was like, give it a chance. You never know. You never fucking know.
Yeah.
What will happen.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'm not excited about it. I'm not going to watch it.
Where'd you get that from? Was it because we were messaging back and forth and you were like, oh, you're missing one? Yeah, well. Yeah.
I'm like, you're missing one. You're missing one.
Yeah.
But I knew. Something told me to get it. So I got it. And I knew immediately because they did the buy-in. The buy-in was the first match. What was the first match? Whatever it was good. It was good. It was a decent first match, and I had no expectations of it at all. This whole pay-per-view, and I think what made it so good for me is that I had no fucking expectations of it. Because I was like, no Daniel Bryan, no CM Punk. Like, half the New Japan stars, no Kenny Omega's there. You know what I mean? Like, I had no expectations of it. The buy-in happened. First and foremost, I want to say this. AEW needs to start playing more big arenas. Because the way this came off, you had the whole arena. Like, they did a pretty good sell for that gate. They did a nice sell for that gate, and it showed on the pay-per-view. And you have all these wrestling fans in there, loud as fuck. And it just came off like at the buy-in, they were hype. And the buy-in matches were good. The crowd was into it. And it never stopped. So from the buy-in to the end of that pay-per-view, the crowd was into every single match and got loud for every single match. And this was a long pay-per-view. This was about as long as the last pay-per-view they did. But the difference is the time went by faster because the crowd was into it. And you could tell the crowd was into it because it translated very well.
Somebody who was there that was actually at the show said they were dead by the end of the night.
No.
Yeah. No, somebody who was in the building.
No.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Who the fuck said that?
Somebody on the internet. They had pictures and videos.
I need proof.
They were in the section over there.
I need proof.
Because apparently there was a fight that happened in the stands.
No, yeah. So, yeah. On Moxley and Tanahashi, there was a fight that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the crowd all started chanting, "You fucked up" during the match, which is how you knew something happened.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the guy, I mean, I'm not saying like all the people, but he says that his section was pretty restless.
I could see that because that was a long pay-per-view. Like It started at 7. It was 4 hours. It was a 4-hour pay-per-view.
I mean, I like wrestling, don't get me wrong, but I don't like it that damn much to sit there all fucking night. Fuck that.
Yeah, it was a 4-hour pay-per-view. Yeah. But if you put it in this sense, like if you go to an AEW show, it's pretty much 4 hours.
I don't have a problem with it when I'm sitting there.
Yeah.
But when I'm like watching TV and I'm in my house and I'm like, oh shit, I'm starting to fucking get sleepy, I'm gonna knock the fuck out. When I'm there, I don't have the luxury of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So
but no, this was for what it was. This was a great pay-per-view, man. Like for real.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. And Tony Khan says that it was very successful. They did about $6 million on it. So it was very successful. And that's one thing. That's one thing I will give AEW credit for. I'm not an AEW hater at all. It's just I wish they would do some things differently. But one thing I'll give them credit for is that they actually have, and I talked about this all the time in the group. I'm talking about the casuals. But they have a group of fans out there that will always buy their shit. They'll always buy their pay-per-views. So they're making money on pay-per-views. As to WWE, well, those premium live events, those shows are paid for because it's on the network. So they've already been paid for the network by Peacock and Universal. So the only thing WWE's making pretty much is they're drawing on the gate. And I'm not sure what they're doing for pay-per-view. I mean, there's still some people that still buy WWE's, pay-per-views are premium live events.
Right.
They buy those through pay-per-view and all those other distribution angles, but the majority of that shit, the views come from the network. But Tony Khan is consistently putting out a product here that people want to buy. Even the biggest AEW hater will have to admit they're fucking making money. Doesn't matter how much they're in the red, they're still making money on pay-per-view. But if you make $6 million on pay-per-view, but you're in the debt $100 million, are you really making any money?
Not really.
Right.
But they did make a couple of changes. For one, that presentation, the staging, the lighting, everything about that presentation, and they even did something similar on Dynamite. It was A+. Like they made significant changes. The stage was nice, the walkway was nice, the way they lit the ring up, it had a very good feel to it.
I wish they'd get rid of those tunnels.
I'm not, you know me. I never complain about them, but I can see how somebody would say get rid of them. I don't have a problem with them.
And this is what I'm talking about, where the comparison will always be made before where AEW to WCW. Okay, because it looks like a WCW show from back in the day. Remember,
actually, you're right, because
when Watts was there in WCW in 92, they had the two sides, the two tunnels. They had the heel side and the babyface side, and the long ass ramp to the ring, the stage. This is all shit that you saw in WCW.
I get that. But if they change it, then what? Then what's the comparison going to be?
I don't have a problem with it.
Right. That's why I don't have a problem with the two sides.
I'm saying I don't have a problem with what they're doing. I just wish. Yeah. I mean, if you have just make one big giant ass set.
I don't care about that. I mean,
I do.
In a sense,
is important.
In a sense, I care. In the sense,
look at the cardboard. Yeah. Look at the cardboard fucking letters that they used to use for Raw back in the day. those big REW fucking letters for Raw. You look at these big cardboard ass letters that they have for Raw. If you turn over to TNT and you see this fucking setup there that says WCW everywhere, and they're using pyrotechnics and shit.
Yeah.
And then you look over to WWF and they got the red, white, and blue fucking ropes, and they got these big red letters that say Raw that are cardboard. I mean, really? What presentation are you going to say which is the big time and which is not?
No, you're right, because I used to watch Nitro for that very reason.
Right.
Because I like their stage.
Big ass WCW fucking letters on the side here, pyrotechnics going off. You can't do pyrotechnics at the stage on WWF because the fucking cardboard will catch on fire.
You're right. I agree. I agree with that. It is important.
Yeah, standing. You got your presentation. Like when I watched Dynamite last night, Blood and Guts, right? That looked like a pay-per-view presentation.
It did.
It looked good on TV. That's how it's supposed to fucking look. I mean, damn, dude. I'm like, I was watching the show last night. I'm like, am I watching the same AEW? Because it felt different. That's
what I hit you up last night, and I was like, dude, they need to keep doing this because it looks amazing.
Right.
And
really they actually do war games correctly.
They did.
They have the cage that's that's how it's supposed. I don't know what WWE's deal is with not having a roof on the double cage. I've always thought that looks stupid. That's not war games to me. They can call it war games all they want to. War games is the two rings, the double cage, and then the cage on top. That's fucking war games. Yep. It always will be. And AEW, for the second time, they pulled it off.
Yeah. That was a very good blood and guts match, actually.
Oh, it was.
A very good blood and guts match.
Still don't understand why Sammy Guevara is with Jericho again, but that makes no sense to me.
I think they listen, because a lot of people didn't like the old form of Jericho Appreciation Society. Like, there was no heat coming from anybody but Jericho.
Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing I did like last night, and I was like, okay, they need to do this more often. I can get behind this fucking guy, Luchasaurus. Yes, sir.
Fucking monster,
dude. I don't even give a shit about him wearing the mask.
Nope.
It was a black mask. He was like
he came out,
and he wasn't doing all that flippy floppy shit no more. He was wrestling like a big man.
Yep.
He was wrestling like and Christian was. It was like Christian was controlling him. So I'm kind of wondering, like, you basically took what Edge was doing, and now you're doing it over there because that Judgment Day shit is like just terrible now. Fell off. You basically took that, and now Christian. Now I wonder. Okay, obviously, long-term storytelling is going to be when Jungle Boy comes back. Now people are already saying, "Oh, well, Luchasaurus is going to turn on Jungle Boy, or turn on Christian to go back with Jungle Boy." I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to push him as a heel. They need to continue that.
Have him and Jungle Boy feud.
And that'd be the way to
get to Christian. Yep.
Or eventually Christian says, you pass the test, Jungle Boy, and turn Jungle Boy heel. Be something different. You pass the test.
I like that.
You did what I thought. You did what I thought. you did what I thought you couldn't do, and you're, whatever. I'd like to see that happen. I'm all for the twist, something different.
Yeah.
And when Christian brought Luchasaurus out there last night, and the music, that new music he has with the stomping in the background, and then the fire coming up, I'm like, wow, this visually looks amazing. So kudos to them on that shit. That looked amazing. It was great. I'm not sure what's going on here though with the announcing with Jim Ross. I don't get.
So they did this at Forbidden Door too, because they started off with Kevin Kelly, Taz, and Excalibur, and then they brought in Tony Schiavone, and then they brought in Jim Ross, and they did kind of that same format at Dynamite.
Yeah,
where you started with a completely different team, and I thought Jim Ross was on his way out. It's just how it seemed to me. But you were telling me earlier that no, he just signed a new contract extension, so he's there for a little bit. But I don't know. Maybe they're trying to find a new chemistry for the announced team. I'm not really against it though.
I know Jim. I mean, Jim Ross is one of the greatest voices ever in the history of the business. I mean, nobody can deny that. I do believe that Ross's better days are behind him, obviously, as far as, commentating wise.
Yeah.
When it comes down to, I think when it comes to professional wrestling and the simplistic, Jim Ross can call that.
Yeah.
But when it's a lot of, goofy shit going on that Jim really doesn't understand, I don't think he does good in that environment.
Yeah.
And I think one of the credibility issues that they have with the announcing goes is that no one is going to take Excalibur seriously with him wearing that mask.
I agree.
Vince McMahon would not allow him on his TV show wearing that fucking mask, because that's a detraction for what else is going on there, what they're trying to talk about. You can take seriously what this guy is talking about in a mask. No, he cannot be your lead announcer. The only ones out there with a shred of credibility are Taz, Jim Ross, and Schiavone.
Yeah.
That's it.
That should be the team. Honestly.
That should be the team. That should be the team. Because Excalibur you cannot take him seriously. You can't have your lead main announcer out there wearing a mask, and he's supposed to be the one selling your show and selling your pay-per-views and trying to do this and do that and put this over and put that over. That would never happen at WWE. You don't see that with Michael Cole or Pat McAfee. You don't see that with Corey Graves or, Lesnar and Byron Saxton. You don't see that with any of their announcers. You don't see that. And that's one thing they need to do there is, if you want to have Excalibur out there, fine. Have Excalibur on Dark or some shit.
Yeah. You know who I'm surprised they haven't gone after yet? Mauro Ranallo.
Yeah.
I think he's done with wrestling, but
I'm surprised, they don't get Kevin Kelly in there.
Kevin Kelly was excellent. Basis. Yeah, he was excellent on Forbidden Door.
And matter of fact, what was the Caprice Coleman? Another one. You can bring there for the new ring. I think he might be part of
Actually, they had him on Forbidden Door too.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got some voices out there, you can use.
Yep.
Shit. Get Joey Styles wherever the hell Joey Styles is hiding at.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. That'd actually be awesome.
All
right. WWE made a significant signing. I'm going to call this significant now, even though to a lot of people this may not be significant. This is a significant signing. They signed Logan Paul to the WWE.
Right.
For many reasons, I'm going to lay out why this is a very strong and significant signing. And I'm going to go back to WrestleMania. When Logan Paul was announced as being part of WrestleMania, that man got fucking nuclear heat.
Mm-hmm.
Nuclear heat. He is a heel for all purposes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He will get a reaction. Oh, and by the way, he's actually not that bad of a wrestler. He had some spots in that match. He's not that bad. He can learn. He's not exactly green though. He was flying around. He got his work in. Took his bumps when he needed to take them. He just needs to learn how to sell. He's green there, but he needs to learn how to sell. But he is going to generate them a good amount of money because A, he can be a monster heel because people already hate him. B, he's bringing in the YouTube crowd, and that is a younger demographic. Probably in the demographic they want to target, which is that 18 to 49, because most people 18 to 49 fucking hate Logan Paul and probably want to see him get his ass kicked. So I think this is a very strong signing for WWE.
Well, I have to agree with you on this. I don't really see it as a bad thing because WWE has always done this. They've always taken somebody from outside of WWE's brand of sports entertainment and put them in to WWE.
Yep.
It happened with Mr. T, happened with Lawrence Taylor, happened with Mike Tyson. The list goes on and on.
Yeah. Floyd Mayweather did monster numbers with Big Show.
Yeah. So it brings in publicity.
Mm-hmm.
It brings in the casuals that don't like him. They're going to watch him because they want to see him get his ass whooped. And also, it has a bit of credibility to WWE. Now, fun fact here, it was said that Logan Paul actually contacted Tony Khan back in May.
Oh, wow.
About possibly appearing in AEW, and they didn't go for it.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I read. So I'm all for it. It once again is broadening the broadening the audience because WWE is not a wrestling company. They are a sports entertainment company. They're an entertainment company. They're not wrestling. So this fits right for them.
That's in their wheelhouse.
Right. But people that's going, crazy right now and calling this, BS and whoop-de-whoop and all that, they be marking the fuck out if this guy had made an appearance on AEW Dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
If he had a walk through Forbidden Door, they would be going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people's bias out there is showing because it's WWE. And I think that's what it is.
No, I think this was a good move for them, honestly.
Now, one thing I will say though is I thought that John Cena's appearance on Monday night would have moved the ratings a little bit more than what it did, and it actually decreased some, and that's very, very telling to me, especially for it being a go home show for Money in the Bank.
Yep.
So that's in. I'm serious. I thought they would have got at least over a 2.
Me too.
I mean, he's one of the biggest superstars of all time in WWE, and that just shows you how damaged Raw is. That they can't pull in 2 million
with John Cena.
Before the pandemic, Raw was doing like 3 million viewers.
Yeah,
and now they can't even get that. Roman pulls in over 2 million on SmackDown by himself, but even Roman struggles to do numbers on Raw. So I think Raw is just a tired brand. It's just not the show anymore. I said a long time ago, Mondays used to be wrestling night, and it's not anymore.
It's not. It's either Wednesday or Friday.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they got some work to do. But yeah,
they do.
That was telling.
Yeah.
The only thing that may save Raw is if, I hate to say it, if AEW moves to Monday.
That will not happen for a long time.
It won't. But that's the only thing that's going to save Raw.
Yeah, it will get some eyeballs on the product.
Yeah.
It'll step them up creatively because now they have to deal with this juggernaut that's on Wednesdays. They have to deal with them on Mondays, but it's not going to happen for a long time.
No,
I think they need to stay where they're at and focus on what they're doing and go from there. You don't want to get tapped by the 800-pound gorilla.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't want to be TNA.
I think what they're doing, if they do what they did last night, if they keep doing that, then they're going to get some very good traction out of it. Because I liked what I saw last night.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm enjoying the focus here of the Luchasaurus and Christian dynamic. I mean, Luchasaurus and Christian were probably one of the main reasons. I mean, I watched their segment, and then I fast forwarded to Blood and Guts.
Actually, I think Jade had a pretty good segment. Well, she had a match, and then she had a pretty good segment. I thought that was pretty. I thought that was pretty good.
I saw that. So, and people are speculating that the person that could be coming in could be Sasha Banks. I don't think so. I think Sasha's gonna end up staying in WWE.
Bro, Sasha ain't gonna be no baddie.
No, Sasha Banks is gonna end up staying in WWE.
Yeah, Sasha ain't gonna be no fucking baddie.
She's not.
Y'all can cancel that.
Yeah, she is not coming in. She's because once Sasha
second fiddle to Jade, you out your fucking mind.
If Sasha comes in there, Thunder Rosa is done.
Oh, most certainly.
That's how the run is done.
Oh yeah, finished. Most certainly. If she goes there, I am not of the belief that she's gonna go to AEW, but in the event that she goes to AEW, then yeah, Thunder Rosa can kiss that title goodbye.
I think Naomi will show up over there first before Sasha.
Naomi as a baddie would be that'd be money.
Yeah,
that'd be big money actually, because now you have her with Jade, Stokely, and Kiera Hogan.
Yeah,
that's a great faction.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, I'd love to see that happen. All right, man. Final thoughts. What you got?
Nothing much, man. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, we knocked it out of the park as far as all the mainstream topics that's going on, except for one last thing. Yeah. So, the Supreme Court also came in and talked about the Second Amendment, and they shot down a New York City law about concealed carry. And they're already trying to prohibit some stuff in New York, and things in California are also, they're trying to do some things in California as well. And I'm just going to, I'm not going to get into a long ass thing about this. I'm just going to say what I think. So we already have a lot of strong gun laws on the books anyways. If you look at Chicago and California and New York, have some of the strongest gun laws in the nation. And it don't mean shit. Because the gun laws are only going to be followed by the person who's doing the right thing. It's going to be followed by the legal gun owner. Okay. The criminal doesn't give a shit about your gun laws because they already have the fucking gun. They don't care. So when I hear stupid shit like we need to up the laws and all this, who are you upping the laws for exactly? Because if a person wants to get something, they're going to fucking get it. Period. I was watching this story the other night. It happened in somewhere I think in Georgia. It was at Subway. And this woman was shot to death, and her coworker was shot because she put too much mayonnaise on this dude's sandwich. And this was in the hood. And I thought to myself, well, geez, if only they would have had stricter gun laws, this never would have happened. Bullshit.
I mean, people get shot every day, B.
You think that's what I'm saying? You think that if a motherfucker gonna go do a drive-by on somebody, they give a fuck about your gun laws? They don't care. They don't give a shit. It doesn't apply to them. Don't give a fuck.
Okay, so what would you say to the legal gun owner and when purchased the gun legally, did everything legal,
yeah,
and goes and shoots up a school?
I don't know what to say to that.
That's why they need to up them.
But but if upping them, let me ask you this question: if upping the gun law, would that still stop the person from shooting up the school, the legal gun owner? No,
no, it won't.
Exactly. So up it for what? A background. Oh, I get it. I get it. Let's do a background check. Let's do a background check on somebody. Let's do a background check on him, and let's check him out and have the character references and all that, just to make sure he's not a bad person. So then we can give him the permit to say you have a right to carry this gun, and then the motherfucker goes out there and shoots someone, but he already went through the psych test, got the character references, and they did the background check, and a motherfucker still went and did some shit. So obviously it didn't fucking work.
All right, that point, I agree with you. Here's what I suggest. If that happens, then the emphasis for mental health needs to be off the table. It needs to be. Because if you were deemed fit enough to get it and you went out and committed the crime anyway, you were deemed sane enough to get the gun. So mental health goes right off the fucking table.
Hey, how many police officers have gone through the psych exam and have been corrupt to the core? They go through the polygraph and go out there and be corrupt to the core. Go out there and rape women, steal drugs, go out there and do a bunch of stupid shit that makes other officers look bad. Happens every fucking day.
Then you need to put them in jail. That's a whole nother rabbit hole, though.
It sure is.
But what I'm saying is, if you are deemed mentally stable when you get the gun, right? And this is why they ask for tougher mental checks. That ought to be a basis that everyone agrees on. Because if you are deemed mentally stable when you get the gun, the argument for mental health goes off the table. When you legally purchase it, you should have a mental check. And if you are deemed mentally stable, your argument is off the table when you inevitably kill someone. Not inevitably, but when the event happens that you kill someone, that argument is taken off the table.
I agree with you. There should be mental checks, absolutely, and there should also be a requalification. I agree. Every 6 months or something like that, or every year, you should go in there and requal. But my thing is this: when it comes down to it, these laws they're not helping anyone. They're hurting more people than they're helping, because you're taking the legal gun owner and you're criminalizing them. You're turning into a criminal. Like you're trying to tell, like, one of the things with Biden was
you just said that yourself. Like, even if they do purchase it legally, right? It's not going to stop them from killing someone. It's not.
No. But the thing is, like, what I'm trying to say is, though, bro, it's like it ain't about it. It's not about the gun. You know, it's about the person who has the gun. That's why I'm saying,
yeah. The mental health aspect of this needs to be visited, because in each of these legal situations,
with a fucking car, bruh. If a motherfucker is mental, if you are mental,
exactly.
you know how many motherfuckers are mental that go out there and drive cars and run them into people.
Exactly.
But you don't take a mental test to drive a car.
Yeah, but when someone legally purchases a gun and they go and kill people, the first argument is a person's mental health. They have mental problems. Well, why the fuck do you have a gun?
No, it's not. That's bullshit.
That is the first argument.
No,
yeah,
no, it's not. No, it's not. When a motherfucker gets when a dude is in Compton or Chicago,
I'm saying legal, not illegally, legal.
No, fuck no, because
that is the argument.
It all plays into it, man. It all plays into it because they treat the shit. Look, if you got a situation where this dude goes up here and shoots some shit up and shoots more than 6 people, they call it a mass shooting. But if a motherfucker in the hood goes and pops on fucking 6 or 7 people, it's a drive-by. What's the difference?
Wording.
But wording. They don't come up. That doesn't come up and on the hood shit. Oh, well, what was his mental status? That shit don't come up.
You know why. You know why that is.
Exactly. The double standard.
You know
the liberal double standard.
You know why that is.
Come on, man. I know what's up.
But,
what I'm saying is your mental check.
Let me hit you with this though. Let me hit you with this though. Do you think that living in a place of poverty, not having access to all these programs, does that not play a part in the mental aspect of a person in that condition?
No.
Why not?
Why not? What do you mean exactly? What do you mean exactly by the mental? Explain that, and then I can answer that. Explain it again.
Because you become mentally conditioned to that environment.
Okay, so what you're basically saying is that if a person lives in a certain area and they don't have access to certain programs, then they're going to become
you're a product of that environment.
That is
different.
That is bullshit.
That is no.
Bullshit.
That is no different.
That's bullshit.
No, listen.
That's a bullshit. That's a bullshit statement.
All right, great. I get your point on that. That is
you don't get my point because I ain't said it.
No, I get what you're trying to put down. What I'm saying is that is no different than a child that is brought up believing that they should hate a certain race of people, so they go into a grocery store and kill those types of people. That is no different. They've been conditioned. Mental. Exactly. They've been conditioned to that.
Yeah, that's a mental thing.
Yeah, they've been conditioned to that reality. That they believe that is their reality. That is no different than a person that grew up around gang violence and all this other shit that believes that this is a way of life for them. It's the same situation, but I can't say
that.
It is the same situation. That is the exact same situation.
I can't
because
say that.
You've been conditioned to think that way. You've been conditioned.
I ain't been conditioned to nothing.
Not you.
I lived in it.
I know.
I lived in it. I lived in the jungles. I lived in it. The main gang in the jungles when I was growing up, the main gang there was BPS, Black Peace Zones. I lived in the shit. I used to live in the jungles. Motherfuckers shooting every fucking night. Cousins, East Coast Crips. I lived in it.
And guess what?
Been in 2 drive-bys. I didn't fucking make myself to say, oh, well, this is what I have to fucking be. Because I'm conditioned to living in this fucking area of poverty. That's bullshit. You make yourself out it's called your choice. You make yourself out what you want to be.
What I'm saying is, for every person that does that is a person in the same exact situation, such as yourself, that doesn't do that. Not everyone is like that, but for the people that are like that, that's what they believe. Living in it and acting on what you believe are 2 different things. Some people live in it and choose to want better for themselves. Not everybody is like a Frank D. And some of those people think this is the way of life for me. So this is what I'm going to do. And look, you're what they call the exception. Not everyone is built like that.
I love these debates.
But that's what I'm saying. So if you get into these situations, right, whether it's legal or illegal, right, if you own a gun, if you have a gun, then you should be deemed mentally stable to carry that gun. That way, if a murder does happen or a shooting does happen, the argument of a person's mental health is therefore taken off the table because you've been deemed mentally responsible enough to carry that weapon.
I agree. There should be accountability. I agree.
Yeah, there should be accountability.
I agree.
What a hell of a final thought.
Goddamn right. That's what I'm talking
about. A hell of a final thought that was.
It's fucking Jesus. Right. But that's how we do it on No Gimmicks, man.
Oh man.
Just so damn fucking Snapple caramel on that shit.
Oh shit. But yeah, man. Great show tonight. Like I told y'all, it was gonna be a loaded show. So
yeah, it's gonna be a loaded one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a loaded one. So
yeah. But that's how we do it here. Honestly, that's how we do it here. We like to have these real conversations that people should be having that are afraid to have them. And like I said before, we come from two different spectrums, two different sides of the political spectrum, and we can sit down and have a conversation. And you've had your situations in your life, and I've had my situations in my life. Yeah. And we bring those situations together and we put on a goddamn good podcast out there. So
hell yeah, we do.
Subscribe.
Hell yes, we do.
Like, not just us, the whole fucking fucking podcast family. You know what I'm saying? We all do our thing.
Yep. So don't forget, on that note, we have a bonus episode of Saturday Night Nerds, which is a new podcast on the network, man. And they dropped the whole fucking season upon arriving. So
yeah,
very excited for those guys. Make sure y'all tune in Saturday. Looks like we will try to do the UFC 276 over on the Patreon. So don't forget to subscribe there. What else? Texas Style Wrestling. I told you I was going to plug it again. July 9th here in Irving. So if you're in the area, man, come on out. Enjoy it. You're
going to be entertained.
You will be entertained. So yeah. I look forward to going there. I hope I see Teddy Long, man. I really want to holler at him. So
I might be able to make that possible.
Make it possible. Make it possible. I love to meet Rodney Mack too. So
I might be able to make that possible too.
Yeah, I'd love to meet him. So Texas Style Wrestling, July 9th here in Irving. Come on out if you're in the area. If you're close, make the drive, man. Support them. They look like they have a very good product. I'm very interested to seeing it. So I'll probably do some live reporting there too. So yeah, man. Other than that, that's all I got. All right, man. So till next time, you guys be easy, be safe. Have the debates like me and my homie are having, man. Have them talks. You never know what you agree and disagree on. So have them talks. Until next time, y'all be easy. Peace.